Think about the secret of pictures, stories, and illustrations, and how many of those you see on the Sermon on the Mount. If you just ask people, what are some of the pictures on the Sermon on the Mount? Well, there's this narrow path and a wide one. There's a log in someone's eye while he's trying to get a speck out of someone else's. There's this house on a rock. There's lilies in the field. There's birds of the air. And it just goes on and on. There's all these pictures. There are things that are alike. And one of the things you find is that teachers like to use words, to have the verbal words, but actually we remember pictures and stories. It's hard for us to remember words. If you ever had to memorize a text, you have to work on it quite a while to remember all those words. But you can just see a picture very briefly, walk away, and describe it in detail to someone else. Because so much more of your brain is actually designed to hold visual information than verbal information. So if a teacher will take verbal information and put it in visual information, like salt and light, a city set on a hill, a log in an eye, and a speck, then what happens is I'll remember that truth and understand it much more deeply. That picture is worth 1,000 words. It's just true. So good teachers take verbal information and make it visual information through either pictures that they paint with words. They use words to paint pictures, the city on the hill, the house on the rock. Or they use objects sometimes. Jesus, the lily, the sparrow, it was probably right there. He was pointing to it. Or they tell stories. And one of the things that the Bible says about Jesus is it says he never said anything without telling a parable. So Jesus told stories. The kingdom of heaven is like a man who went from Jerusalem to Jericho down this path, and he got waylaid by robbers. He tells this whole story. And so he could have just said, hey, you need to be loving to your neighbor, and more loving than you are, and loving to more neighbors than you are. But instead, he has this story that unfolds that grabs our attention and communicates the truth. Good teachers make great use of stories, illustrations, and pictures.